Yeah, let's say a good morning to talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, big United fan, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Morning, Crookie.
Good morning. Never a dull moment, is it, when it comes to Manchester United and Chelsea, both trying to outdo each other?
Yeah. Well, let's start with Man U then, Crookie. Is Amorim walking a tightrope at the moment after what he said at the weekend?
I think he's walking a very thin tightrope, Jeff. Myself and Ben Jacobs reported late last night that Ruben Amorim's future at Manchester United very much in the balance after that quite explosive press conference following the 1-1 draw with Leeds, when he seemed to round on the hierarchy, director of football Jason Wilcox and head of recruitment Christopher Vivell in particular. I think him saying that he was the Manchester United manager, not the coach, was a pretty clear indication that he feels he should have more control than maybe he's getting in this moment in time. I think Amorim is bristling because the hierarchy have suggested that maybe he's too wedded to one way of playing and needs to be more tactically adaptable. And from Amorim's side, we're also being told that he feels promises have been broken regarding this transfer window. He expected funds to be able to strengthen the squad. Of course, United were one of the teams who held talks with Manchester City-bound Antoine Semenyo, and I think naturally Amorim felt that £65 million release clause would be spent in other areas of the team if they couldn't get Semenyo from Bournemouth. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. United keeping their powder dry until the summer. Is that a reflection on the fact the hierarchy is starting to lose some faith in the Portuguese? And this is not a manager turning on his paymasters from a position of authority, even in the same way that Enzo Maresca did. He had just won the Conference League. He just brought Champions League football to Stamford Bridge. He won the Club World Cup as well. This is a manager, Ruben Amorim, who's been in charge for 64 games. I think he's won 23. So if you're looking for an excuse to fire him, I think he's just given one, and I don't see this ending well for Ruben Amorim.
So, Crookie, you're in the board, because we've had quite a few text messages backing Amorim and having a go at the board and whatever. And some are saying Amorim's not good enough. So, are you in the get rid of Amorim?
Listen, I don't think Ruben Amorim or the board have covered themselves in any glory. You have to remember Dan Ashworth, who was recruited to be the director of football because he was, in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's words, best in class. One of the reasons that Manchester United parted company with him very quickly is because he actually rallied against the appointment of Ruben Amorim. He didn't think this three at the back formation suited Premier League football, or indeed the Manchester United squad. I think he's been proven right. I don't think Amorim, over the course of his tenure, has been good enough. I think there are many more lows than highs. You go back to the Europa League final in Bilbao, there was an argument, I think, to fire Amorim after that, because you can't be tactically outwitted as he was by Ange Postecoglou in the biggest United game in recent memory. Even this season, yes, the league position is okay, but it's so concertinaed. They're as close to the bottom half of the table as they are really to the top three. Grimsby in the League Cup was an absolute abomination. Some of the home performances against 10 men of Everton, Wolves, West Ham in particular have not been good enough. But I also have question marks about Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada, the chief executive. Are they really the best in class? Are they really capable of getting Manchester United back to where they want to be? I think there's an argument that all three of them can go.
Crookie, do United fans have unrealistic expectations? You were 15th last season, for goodness sake. You're breathing down the necks of the Champions League places now.
Are they, though? Breathing down the necks of the Champions League places?
Well, they are. They're 3 points behind Liverpool, or fourth.
I think you look at Liverpool.
That is breathing down the necks. Okay. Doesn't matter which way you look at it. That is breathing down the necks of the Champions League places.
When they get their players back, Liverpool will pull away. I think.
What about when United get their players back? Look at the injury list at the moment. And those who were in African Nations Cup.
They didn't have an injury list when they got dumped out the League Cup by Grimsby, Jeff. Listen, can you sit here and say that you see Ruben Amorim? Can you envisage a scenario where Ruben Amorim is at some stage lifting that Premier League title aloft?
Well, can you?
There's comparison with Mikel Arteta.
Can you see a scenario where you can envisage anybody lifting the Premier League title as Manchester United manager?
Well, that's the ambition. That's the ambition that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has laid out. And there's comparisons with Mikel Arteta, finished 8th in his first season. A lot of Arsenal fans were against him early on. He was allowed to rebuild the squad in his own image. And now they're going to win the Premier League title. I'm just not sure that Ruben Amorim is good enough. I think he's out of his depth, Jeff. I really do. I think there's too many examples. That Everton game, live on talkSPORT, there is no excuse for Everton going down to 10 men. Their strikers don't score goals anyway. How can you defend a manager sticking to his back three? He's bringing Mason Mount on as left wing back when they're chasing the game against 10 men of Everton.
Okay. What about Chelsea? Is Liam Rosenior a done deal, Crookie?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Obviously, we had the images last night of him watching the Chelsea-Manchester City game on an iPad at the airport over in France, flying over to complete this move. I think this could be tied up very quickly. Chelsea have a difficult West London derby away at Fulham in midweek. I would expect Rosenior to be in the dugout for that one. And obviously, there's knock-on effects because Chelsea own Strasbourg as well. And I think Gary O'Neill is the leading candidate to replace Rosenior, so maybe return to management over in France for the former Wolves and Bournemouth gaffer.
And Crookie, any other moves? Because you want to get them done early. If your teams are struggling, then you want to get the players through the door as quick as you can.
Yeah, West Ham are trying to do some business. You mentioned already that they've signed Pablo, one Portuguese striker. They're still trying to sign Adama Traore from Fulham, although he's being utilised at the moment. He came off the bench late on in the game I was at yesterday because they've got players away on African Cup of Nations duty. And they're looking to bring in another forward as well from Lazio. I'm just trying to find my countless emails to get his name at the moment. But actually, a lot of West Ham fans are rallying against these signings because they feel they're already doomed for the Championship and therefore they shouldn't necessarily be lavishing money to try and stay in the Premier League. I'm not sure it's quite that terminal for West Ham. It might be if they lose to Forest. Jorgen Strand-Larsen is on their list as well, but I think Wolves want too much money.
Yeah, Tati Castellanos from Lazio.
That's the one. Rolls off the tongue, that one, doesn't it?
It does.
He's not scored many goals.
Two.
He's not scored many goals in Italy this season.
No, scored two this season.
Yeah, and they do have a habit of bringing in strikers who don't really fire in the Premier League.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they have to be seen to be trying to do something, but their record of recruitment is just so appalling. Crookie, thanks very much indeed. He's got
no problem.
Oh,
cheers, Crookie.
Cheers, Crookie. Take care, mate. By the way, we talk about managers and things. Tony, big Liverpool fan. He's not a fan of Arne Slot. He said Arne Slot should have been sacked 2 months ago. It's a matter of time. He said, can you tell me what Liverpool's identity is under Slot? Are we a possession-based team, a counter-attacking team, a defensive team? Nobody knows.
I think he get a little bit of time, won't he? Because what he done last year, winning the Premier League.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think he's definitely got a lot of credit in the back.
The problem is when you think about sacking managers, you've got to have a plan, haven't you? Who's going to take his job? It's an hard job to take, isn't it, Liverpool? Yeah. No, it's a good job to take, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of expectations. Who's out there can do the job? There's not many can do that job.
Far too soon, I think, to question Arne Slot.
Yeah.